All right. Neo60cu day. Just so everyone knows, we already did the 65cu. Turned out amazing. This is not the core, this is the CU, to my knowledge. Maybe we'll open up and get a surprise. To my knowledge, it's pretty much they're sharing the same kind of everything here. So there shouldn't be all that much of a difference. But you get 5 less keyboard. It's true you do get a little bit less keyboard here, but unfortunately not much you can do. Kind of looks like a blue-gray. I gotta double check what color this is. Ooh. All right, this has the all black PVD bottom. Now that is hot. To me, this is a little bit nicer looking than the multicolored one. Ooh, this is a nice combo. Oh, good eye. There's a little bit of a small... I wonder if that's on the other one. Do you guys see that? Just a small gap over there. Although I don't think that takes away from the board, but there is something there. I'm wondering if that's to also let some sort of wireless stuff go through. God, you can't. My camera's not going to be able to focus on this. I'll definitely put that in my finer notes when I do the written review for this, because I want to do a written review for both the 60 and the 65cu. Here's the side profile of this color scheme. That looks... Nah, dude, this is hot. This looks so good. All right, also, just to go over this again, just because this is probably going to be a separate video. These feet, if you're installing this for the first time, you have to be extremely careful installing these. As Jeff pointed out, and we did confirm, for whatever reason, these feet are extremely stretchy, and you can stretch them out to the point where they're just going to be like overly large for the case. I agree. I think there's some, well, there is not some, but there is validity behind the longer feet causing different sound profiles. I didn't notice anything like out of the ordinary for the 65cu. Yeah, I guess from another standpoint, we mentioned this during the 65cu as well. I don't really quite understand the necessity for a longer foot in the front, and maybe there's a reasoning behind that. I don't want to like dismiss it. I think I would have personally just, you know, added 2 small feet in the front and just extended this weight a little bit more down here. So some other key points about this, and again, we're just going to bring up everything one more time. I know you guys are like, fuck Alex, you've already talked about this. There is a there was a noticeable small little gap there. There's also some small little gaps here. Again, you're not going to notice these when the keyboard's built. Like we pointed it out last time, but just so you guys visually are aware of that, you can kind of see like where my finger goes through that the gap kind of disappears. But the step ridges on the inside, excellent. I love when modern boards do that. I would have liked to see, you know, obviously those gaps cleaned up, but again, is it the end of the world? I can't really see them from this side of the case. Not the end of the world. Might bug someone, and maybe that's a pass for you. Now, one major change, like we mentioned last time, where there's no catchball systems, and they did that on purpose. They gave us reasoning why they decided to go no catchball system. Now, you can love or hate the hidden screw system. I don't think it's terrible. It's definitely annoying, and to this day, like, yes, I would prefer other ways to get the case screwed in, but sometimes that's not possible, and I understand. But you know what? In a lot of ways, I would take this rather than the catchball system. And to explain why I don't really care too much about the catchball system these days is because the catchball system, if it's a perfect world, it's great. It works. You know, you're going to have no problems. However, I had a major problem with one of the catchball systems. First time I ever had it, and it caused some very nasty resonance, a lot of vibration in the top frame. It just was not good. And you can't force break this. You can't do anything to fix it. The only thing you can do is buy a whole new part or get a whole new part. And that's just not feasible for some of these companies. Not because the company can't afford to send you a part. Hear me out, and I think this plays into a bigger conversation, is sometimes you'll buy a board from some random company who decides to put all the bells and whistles and latest trends, right? And that company doesn't support that board anymore. And maybe that particular catchball system just, you know, because they're releasing so many products, they just can't give you that anymore. You know, and again, if you like the catchball system because it's convenient, then you guys do you. Not that it's bad. I think there's some benefits to having the catchball system. Here is the PCB, as we mentioned last time. Lots of options. Now, before we get into everything here, I'm just gonna go over price points one more time. There's lots of different colors, by the way. There was like, what, 10 plus colors last time we looked. But there is different price points depending on what type of material you go with here. Either you go with brass, which starts at $165 for plateless. With a plate, it costs $185, or you go with the copper. So this includes a solderable PCB, but you either go with plateless or with a plate. It starts at $180 with plateless, $200 with a plate. If you want to go with whatever we're using today, which is the tri-mode, well, actually this particular one's the wired hot swap. This is not the tri-mode one. This would be, if we decide to do with a plate, $210. Not bad. How do they do it? Mass manufacturing. Big MOQs. The copper bottom whole board costs less than the mode bottom. Again, I want to make this clear. There are different MOQs with things. So that's one thing to think about as well. And then B, the variation of coppers, and long conversation, there's just different types of coppers that cost different grades cost different amounts of money. So also keep that in consideration. Just some food for thought there. GS2 is amazing in milky yellows. It is, to me, GS2 and milky yellows pair so well together, Matt. The GS2 lubricant, to me, it's a slightly deeper sound signature. And I kind of think paired with particular switches, it might not always work, but paired with milky yellows is super nice. All right, I guess we're just installing this now. Easy build. That's one of the things I like about this, by the way, the Neo series of stuff. Extremely easy builds. Well, plateless builds, I find they have a slightly deeper sound signature sometimes. But I also want to say that I maybe it's me, but I feel like plateless builds also have this like tendency to kind of, you hear more of the switch with less of the plate kind of being an interfering sound signature. Let's see what this sounds like. So this is Gateron L'Orange switches with the Neo60cu, plateless, no foams. This is the brass bottom. Oh, okay, I got a little bit of fingerprints now on this, but brass bottom with the PVD black weight over here, whatever you want to call this, accent on the bottom. Let's see what this sounds, and then we'll build it in the other configuration. Very clean sound profile. A little bit on the lower side, but it also could be the Milky Top Gateron L'Orange switches. I think the Gateron or L'Orange switches are on the deeper side, just ever so slightly sound signature-wise, but it sounds very full. I didn't notice any inconsistencies. We're going to try with the plate anyways, but yeah, it's nice. Pocket Nixie time. Yeah, we'll try cherry switch. That's a lot of scratch. I don't know why this particular, it's a vintage cherry switch. And this is actually 3-pin. How flexy is the plateless build? Not really. I mean, a little bit, kinda, but I'm putting a lot of pressure right now, and I don't know if you guys can even tell. It's all right. Like, it's not super flexy. I think, as with most keyboards with silicone gaskets, it's medium firmness. it's not exactly the most flexy thing in the world. Well, we're going to try the 60 with the soft plate. So I hope that's sort of comparable to you guys, because, I mean, I think my honest thought, realistically, is there's not going to be a crap ton of sound differences between the two boards. I really don't think there is. They're exactly the same keyboard, like through and through. So let's take these off now and let's do the plate. Your content has helped me so much building my first mechanical keyboard. Thank you so much. No comparison. Oh, thank you. That's all I ever want, guys. I just want you guys to, like, I feel like I want everyone to have a good time, and I hope one day that, you know, the content does help you build a keyboard. And just have fun with the product you pick up. All right. This should, in theory, with the plastic plate, be somewhat similar. This is plastic plate and gaskets. I feel like it sounds a little quieter than the plateless. I would rather go with an aluminum plate with these particular switches. Yeah, I feel like it's a bit quieter, which is weird because, again, the carbon fiber on the gaskets were bumping yesterday. I loved it. It was super, super, super good. I actually think this worked better in plateless with these particular switches. And again, I think this is going to be very switch dependent. All right, I can already tell you I really like the top mount in this. Ooh. We said this already, but would have been nice to see these just duplicated here and the weight extended out. However, I don't think this is terrible sound even with this. Like, it definitely has some extra bass. I am confused by the one long foot. And again, we mentioned this yesterday as well. But I think maybe it is a bit more noticeable with the plastic plate today. Maybe there's just not enough height with the foot. Maybe that's the actual issue. Yeah, I actually do think that now that I'm looking at it. Here, let me show you guys what exactly I mean. We're going to zoom in all the way that I possibly can. Do you guys see how close that is? Look, here's a good view. See what I mean? There's not a lot of a difference. It's too close to where the weight would be, in my humble opinion. This one here protrudes out. This one here, not really. So, yeah, I think if they did with the constants and just kind of raised it a little bit. But, I mean, hey, you know what? If they don't end up doing that, I think the maybe the hack is just putting these on top, the other set, underneath or whatever, if you don't want to make it look bad. And then just kind of propping it up with these. These will def fit flush with compression. Yeah. Like, maybe this is the hack. Oops. So, let me try a different spacebar with this too. I'm kind of curious. I did like it better in plateless config with this particular switch. Okay, so here are my final thoughts after having built both. First of all, the price points are absolutely insane on these. I think if you're in the market for a new keyboard and need a 60 or a 65 and want one that sounded good, I think there is a lot of possibilities for both of these. And I think maybe my favorite combo that we tried today might have actually been the carbon fiber that we did in this one here. I actually liked the carbon fiber in this. It was quite nice. Not in the top mount, but the gasket mount. I love the design aesthetic. I think this is their like, to me, and this is a very personal preference thing, I think this is their prettiest keyboard to date. Like, look at that. But there are some sore spots, I guess, when it comes to the frame itself, and I'm being really, really nitpicky. We saw the one we spoke about on both the Neo60cu and the 60. There's a little bit of a gap. And you can't see it now that all the stuff's plugged in here, and you can't even see it at all, which is exactly what I thought was going to happen. But just so you are aware, like there was a small gap when you take apart the whole board. And there even was one on both, which you can slightly see. I don't know if I'll be able to show you guys that. I like the internal system of this. I like the pogo pin connectors. I really, really like it. No, I like the 60 and 65 more than I like the 75. The 75 was really cool. I think it had a pretty unique take on a side profile, for example, as well. But this is more timeless to me. Like this will last longer, and I'll appreciate this more because of the way they did their side profile. I just think it's more well done. But thank you guys for tuning in. Goodbye, everybody. See ya.